Hey.
Hey, Glenn.
What's happening?
Oh, it's a couple of things. It's a new year.
Hey?
A couple of things. But it's a new year, you know. And, how are you doing?
Bellyache.
Bellyache?
Yeah. As usual.
Yes. Yeah, I was, from New Year's Eve to day before yesterday, I was, like, going to, like, the whole funeral process for a friend. I was friends with this guy since, I don't know, 7th grade. And he was on the news. It was all over the news. He was in the military, and they were on foot patrol in Afghanistan. Supposedly there was like some type of meeting. There was supposed to be a meeting with the leaders. And I guess it was like maybe an excuse or something. But a guy came in on a bike with a bomb on it and like killed him and 5 other people. And it was like this big event they had for this guy. Like they shut down the street. There's state troopers, the NYPD, Long Island police officers. They had helicopters. They had all these different huge things. And I don't know, I'm sitting there, you know, my point of view of the military, and I know what their whole thing is. And, you know, they look at my friend, everybody's saying he's a hero, but, you know, I don't know, I look at him more as a victim than a hero. And, but yeah, that was...
Military are made to hang up their brain with their hair when they enter.
Yeah.
And without hair, there's not any individual thinking going on, so
yeah,
you have to somewhat excuse them. They have agreed not really to think about anything but their orders.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that in a war situation, you couldn't have it any other way. Mind you, if the people who are waging the war are not, in fact, doing it for the right reasons, which would be for the benefit of the survival of your country, but are, in fact, working for a third party, such as many of the people in the police and border guards are doing now, working more for whoever directs the gene pool mixture that is required in any place in order to guide it from within by the implant of sleeper cells. That's a different story. They should be charged with treason.
Yeah.
And the people they've directed to do that also have to take some responsibility. In any event,
how's Jenny?
That's another war.
How's Jenny, by the way? Is she
Well, Danny told you what the cell said, that we put out a call on your site for assistance for Jennifer, and even though it gets 2-3 dozen hits a day, not a single person, not a single entity has responded. So they've basically told us to drop out and start planning a different type of site and give background information on what's happening the new place. But it has to be with ordinary people. Your sites seem to attract a group of people who are more likely to have caused the problem than want to repair it. So, at this stage of the game, I'm withholding any other comment on Jennifer, or me for that matter, but I wanted to make sure that you understood it has nothing to do with you or Danny. You both have been helpful, but your site has not.
Yeah, I've been, like, when I last spoke to you, I was just starting to work at a job, and I worked there for 2 weeks, and they let me go because it was a job where we were basically like environmentalist lobbyists, and we would go from door to door canvassing people's houses. And I didn't agree with the job, so, my heart wasn't in it, and I didn't make enough money for them, so they let me go. So, and now I have kind of like a job where I work as like a cameraman for a guy who makes shows for like cooking shows for the Food Network, and it's like once in a while, like maybe like once a month they'll call me.
Yeah.
They only pay you like $100 a day.
Yeah.
So I don't have any money, but I will try to send money. I don't know. I guess.
Well, I wasn't intending this to be about you or Danny. I know your circumstances, and they're not much better than ours, or maybe even.
Well,
worse.
hopefully this year, I that's one of the things I'm working towards this year is to have a steady source of income, and if I can have a steady source of income, then I'll be able to.
Well, Jennifer will need the support of a legal team. And, of course, you've seen my list of stuff that requires a legal team.
Yeah.
And until there is funding to begin the process with a leader of a legal team, I guess is what you start off with, and then that individual, male or female, starts to add to what they need. But we need a lot of letters to be sent out that are preliminary to lawsuits. Mm-hmm. And until that happens, there's $500 million in development money for this site. The cell says is available once we make sure that that money is not going to be in a place where there are thieves all around, at City Hall, at the police, at the hospital. Everybody at Hydro Bell are considered to be, at this stage of the game, criminals. Some are worse, they're called hypocrites, and some are worse than hypocrites, they're called control freaks. And until we clarify that we will be allowed to invest in a development here on the site, the cell is holding back. There are apparently 50 private investors, each willing to put up $10 million. But we gotta clean up our act so we don't end up like we did in Hull, with the mayor asking for a 5% cut on the project, with federal cabinet ministers asking for a cut for them. And if we can't be assured that, people here are going to be supportive and not demanding, and certainly one of the ways they could be supportive is to write to the Prime Minister and demand that Jennifer be brought back. She was taken out at gunpoint in the middle of the night in a place where she had no option. It was Ottawa Carleton Detention Center, which is classified by the Cell as the worst prison in Ontario, if not in Canada as a whole. And you can imagine when somebody arrives at 1:30 in the morning and drags you out of bed with the support of the guards that are there and drags you at gunpoint to Montreal, shoved on an airplane and flown and handcuffed, removed 20 minutes before you get off the plane, and then they try to start a fight with her so that the pilot could communicate to the airport, say, I got a crazy person, be ready to pick her up. And then getting off the plane and the police being there in droves, asking her questions to which she had all the answers and said, I think we got the wrong person for being crazy. It's more these two who brought her here that should be arrested. So until something is done, and right now it appears that the only way to go is to get a legal team behind somebody with the ability to fight the system. And one has apparently come forward. However, that would require, even if it's done pro bono, would require expenses, out-of-pocket expenses for paper and letters and all of that stuff. And from what I understand, it will start with $10,000 to get them going. It has the support of a number of retired officers of the court who know what's going on and therefore has as good a chance of being successful as anything. So right now I gotta go, Gerd, so I'll leave it for now and we'll talk some other time when I know a little more.
All right.
Okay.
Take
Bye.
care of yourself, Glenn.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Yeah. It's a new year.
Yeah.